Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a
Uh,
fantastic day.
Hey, sorry, I was disconnected for a second. Hey, hi guys, hi everyone.
Yeah, hey.
Do you have my
Well,
audio? Oh
yes, I
wait,
do.
I
I
don't
do.
have the
Do
audio.
you hear
One
me? You
second,
don't
one
hear me.
second. I don't know,
That's
I got
funny.
disconnected.
I hope everybody can hear me. I'm not the
One
problem.
second,
I'm
sir.
probably never the problem. So, hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me. Yes,
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 now
yes.
I can
You do.
hear you.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah,
Fantastic. So, today
sorry.
we want to go live. I'm a little bit late, which never happens. I don't know why. And Armin is joining me today because we want to talk about some important stuff that is happening in Iran.
Yes.
Many people might have seen it on the news, but there is some huge protest going on, which is escalating more and more. And many people, I saw it on the media, I saw commentators, and Armin told me the same. This protest is different. It's very significant. It might be the most important protest in a long time. But before messing it all up, I would like to say hi to Armin and have him talk about it. How are you doing, Armin?
Good, good. Thank you so much for having me. There's a lot of people in the YouTube scene are not talking about this, and I was actually surprised on how that you responded to me so fast, and I'm really grateful because this is so important, and I feel like it needs a lot more coverage than it's getting. When people like George Floyd die, like I feel like the international community responds to things that happen in the U.S. or maybe in the UK, but when something so significant is happening somewhere else, like in Iran, I just feel like you don't see the same kind of enthusiasm. Like you don't see that favor being returned. Like
Mhm.
why? And this is big. This is not just about one person. So I don't know if people know what I'm talking about. Like in Iran, this is started with the death of one woman, a 22-year-old woman. Do you want to share the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this is her. This is what well this was her. Mahsa Amini. This is before her death. She was arrested by Iran's Islamic morality police for improper hijab. And just to be clear, improper hijab, she was wearing something similar to what you see in the picture on the right now. Okay. So this was improper enough for her to get arrested. Okay.
Wow.
And something happened during her arrest, which ended up in her death. And right now, the assumption is like the best guess is that she was hit in the head or something because we can't be certain, but whatever happened, they did something that resulted in her death, and she's dead now. And this escalated. This in response to that, Iranian people are in the streets. It's been around like how many days? I think this happened on September 16th. So it's been like about a week now, and people are coming out in the streets and protesting against this, and people are taking off their hijab. They're burning their hijab. I have a lot of videos. They're fighting back against the police. We have seen protests like this in Iran before, but this seems a lot more significant.
I saw
People
videos
see,
of people cutting their hair off or something. Is
yeah,
that?
yeah. That's as a way to show solidarity with her. A
Mhm.
lot of women are cutting their hair, but they're doing a lot more than just that. Like, let me um, first show you. Okay, so I have so much to show you, but I know we have limited time, so I'm just going to go through these really quick. This is a lot of women are taking off their hijab on a scale we haven't seen before. Like before we saw protests, they were like, this girl took out her hijab, that girl took out her hijab. But now they're like mass taking off of hijabs and burning of hijabs, right? So let me just show you. There's so many things that are different about this protest that is escalating things to a new level. So much so, like in previous protests, I never looked at them and thought that this is a threat to the regime. I now look at these protests and it really seriously looks like a threat to the regime. Like, even if this doesn't topple the regime, these protests, every single protest seems to be more radical and more extreme than the one before it. So if we keep continuing in this way, at some point it seems like something might happen. Anyways, let me show you this first video. This is, by the way, this video, is it the video that I think it is? Yes. This video is the most beautiful video I've ever seen come out of Iran. So I wanted to show you this one first. I've never seen something so beautiful. Could you just watch this?
Just a second. Your thing is muted. Your screen sharing is muted.
Yeah.
You need to turn that on.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much.
Wow.
All right, but it's not just how beautiful this is, because we have so many. It's the entire crowd cheering her, right? It's so the way she dances, and now so many other girls are copying her. I've seen some other videos, people doing the circle before burning their job. All right.
Wow.
But
Wow. Let's watch it again with sound.
With sound, one more time with sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. That's so. That makes me so happy. I don't know. It's very, it's very touching, surprising, strong.
It's actually even so surprising, because people are saying that my religious grandma or mother is burning off their hijab. Like, we have women who went to Hajj, all right, and they're coming in solidarity and coming in the streets and burning and taking off their hijab. Here's one image of something similar, but like, people are coming out, and people in Iran are like talking about this is different. Like, we used to have like young or liberal secular people coming out. We now have so many people coming out. We have even religious people coming and begging the regime to like cut it out, because we're losing. We have religious people that want this regime to fall, because they think that so many people in Iran are leaving Islam because of this regime, and they're saying, for the sake of Islam, we need to topple this government because they are destroying Islam. But anyway, look at this. Let me show you another one that is beautiful, because a lot of the videos are of young people, so there's not that much shared of like older people. So I just wanted to show you this cute granny. Oh, this is so cute. Look at her. She's saying, I don't know if I could say this on YouTube. She's saying death to. Can I say that? I think I can say that. She's saying it. I'm not saying
death to what?
Yeah. She's saying death to Khamenei, right? Well,
yeah, you
taking
can
off her
say
job.
This video is going to be demonetized anyway. You can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Wow. Here in this case, I mean, with these protests, this is it's not just people complaining because of I don't know, poor living standards or the economy, or I don't know, fraud in elections as we've experienced in the past. This is fueled by one of the core moral matters directed at women. And it grew because a woman died, and people think she was killed. People are pretty sure that she was killed. I think her father wasn't even allowed to see her, right?
Yeah, they did. Yes, the father wasn't allowed to see her. And they're spreading so many lies about her. The father is so brave, coming out and saying these are lies. They're saying she had a history of heart problems. That's why she died. The father is saying that's an absolute lie. She's a 22-year-old healthy woman. She had no problems. They're making stuff up. And the thing is that they're coming up with lies that are inconsistent, so they're obviously lies. And there's so many doctors coming out and saying like this is probably like she's been hit in the head. Some people are reporting that she was hit in the head multiple times while she was in the car. But again, whatever we don't know what happened exactly for sure, but whatever happened is as a result of her arrest. So we know they did something that ended up, you know, and she was actually, after her arrest, she was walking normally for a while, and then she fell and then died. So after listening to experts, it seems like it's possible for somebody to be hit in the head, but not show the signs of internal bleeding until a couple of hours later. With regards to what the people are protesting, the people, just to understand, the people are not just protesting the hijab or the morality police. Okay, the people are protesting the regime. You know, they're not asking for the hijab to be voluntary. They're not asking for the morality police, the Islamic morality police, to go away. These are symbols, the hijab and the morality police, and this woman's the way this woman was treated, are all symbols of what the regime represents. So the hijab, for a lot of women in Iran, the hijab is not just Islam. The hijab is a symbol of the Islamic Republic of Iran. It's its signature, and it's a way it exerts its influence and power over the people. It's the most visible sign of the Islamic Republic's dominance over the people. So just like the Islamic Republic has made the hijab a signature of its dominance over the people, the Iranian women are taking it off a symbol of standing up to the Islamic Republic of Iran as a whole, not just the hijab. And this is why women in Iran are leading the way when it comes to standing up against the Islamic Republic. Like, these protests are led by women. So if the regime, I want to be clear, okay, I'm not trying to, this is not like a, I don't know, white knighting woman. This is actually what's happening on the ground, right? If the Islamic Republic of Iran falls, it's going to fall because of Iranian women, which is kind of poetic, because the Islamic Republic came into power originally because it had a problem with how liberal women were. Like, Khomeini's entire movement started with that. So it would be very poetic if the Iranian women are the ones who take it to get rid of it eventually and make it crumble. But anyways,
let's get back to the very very quickly, just to very briefly summarize it. Let me know if I'm right about this. Iran had a monarchy. There were protests. There was demand for a revolution. There were different factions, including several religious ones, communist, leftist ones, democratic ones, and so on. Many of them worked together in promises of establishing an actual democracy. But then the Islamic Revolutionary Group basically took advantage of this revolution and established their own Islamic theocratic democracy, and then suppressed everybody else. Right?
Yes, and also it was kind of the leftists betrayed the people by portraying the religious people as a symbolic movement that could be used as a way to get democracy, right? Kind of like they tried to merge the language of protest and democracy with Shia, not just Islam, but Shia Islam, like with the revolution of Hussein against tyrants and stuff, right? And the people, because it was an age of revolution and an age of uprising, the people kind of went with the leftists, believing that these are what the imams represent, without actually taking time to read their books and see what they were actually want. And Khomeini actually was very clever at that time by he toned it down, because in his books he was very anti-woman, anti-liberty, anti so many things that the people in Iran were asking for liberty. So if they actually bothered to read Khomeini's book, they would be like, yeah, this is what the hell, this is exactly the opposite of what they were asking for. But they didn't. They believed the leftists, and they just brought these people into power. And the problem is that once the mullahs came into power, they crushed the leftists. They massacred them, right? So this is what you get with working for the mullahs. Like, and became
And Iran literally has two forces. I think the supreme leader and the some unit that is responsible for protecting the Islamic Republic and making sure that nothing that contradicts with those core ideas can be passed into law and can become elected, right? So
IRGC. IRGC, yes, the IRGC.
So
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah, and the IRGC is responsible for the Iran's version of Islam to be dominant, not just in Iran, but around the region, in around the Middle East. And the IRGC, by its very nature, is not an Iranian entity. There's nothing Iran within its name. Like, the entire goal is to export the values of the revolution beyond Iran's borders, right? So it's amazing because this is supposed to become the Islamic Revolution in Iran was not supposed to be Iranian, and was supposed to be Islamic, and it's supposed to usher in an Islamic empire. That was what Khomeini wanted, and that's what Khamenei is continuing. So it's amazing that it will, if it comes down, it will come down using the hijab, right? Like that, forcing it has ambition beyond its borders, but it's so corrupt from the core that it might crumble from within because it tried to oppress its own people, right? So this is anyways, I want to show you this video because there's so many things that are different about these protests that are happening right now in Iran compared to I have a list of comparisons that makes this one so very significant. One reason why this is more significant than the other ones is that the people seem to not be afraid at all. Like I used to see in previous protests, the people come in the street, they were very brave. They were still brave at that point. But when the police would come forward, they would like disperse, right? Now I see motorcycles going into the crowd and stuff, and they stand their ground. And there's so many videos like that shows how brave Iranian people are being right now. I have a few examples. I want to show you this one first.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so you can see right now these are the police with the heavy gear and their trucks and stuff. But when you start watching this video, it's really how it ends. It's like not predictable because when you see it, it seems like they're going to attack the people, but it turns out very surprising. Like
What are they saying?
Be sharaf, without honor.
Oh. Wow, man, that makes me so proud. This makes me so proud. It makes me so. It's great to see that these people are actually finally standing up to those horrible authorities. Here's the thing I want to ask you though. We had major protests before, and especially one of them ended with a brutal massacre, as far as I remember, right, where Iran basically cut off communication, and then and the authorities fired into the crowds and killed lots of people.
1,500.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are the chances here?
Okay, so right now it seems to be a really good time to protest because Raisi, Iran's president, is in New York for the United Nations General Assembly speech, and he just gave his speech. Okay, so this is very embarrassing for him because he just gave a speech talking about the human rights violations of countries like Israel and United States, right? And he was giving the speech while this was happening in Iran, people protesting against the regime for Iran's human rights. Like the audacity, like it's so like made Iranians blood boil that this is, and he didn't even address anything that is happening in his country while like lecturing other countries about their human rights violations, right? But the reason why right now it seems like they might hold back in attacking people because it's so embarrassing, because Racy is in New York. So it would be very embarrassing for him if they're gunning down people while he's talking, while he's
Mhm.
in. So people think maybe when he comes back to Iran, they will, increase the violence. But this might be a good time for people to increase the protest, right?
Yeah,
Another thing,
everybody's eyes is on the matter right now,
yes,
so that's a
right
perfect.
now,
Yeah.
yes, but they are cutting down the internet, and when they cut down the internet, that's like usually a sign that things might escalate and they might start shooting people. So we don't know. Another thing that the people are reporting from the street is that the officers do not seem to be motivated um, to attack the
Okay.
people, right? And it seemed like some generals, some higher officers, are ignoring some of the commands to attack on people. Again, this is another reason why it seems like these protests are different, because a lot of religious people have also have lost faith in the regime. So there's division, like people that used to be pro-regime are second guessing their support now, and this is going to be very significant because this is the regime's base. Is now, it's not just the secular or non-religious people or the liberal people that are now anti-regime. There seems to be cracks within the base of support, and that would, if you lose the base, the regime doesn't have any more legs to stand on, right?
Mhm.
But especially if the people who are supposed to enforce these rules, if they, because they are younger and younger and younger, right? And a lot of these younger people are influenced by other people on social media. Some of them are not sure about what they're doing. Some of them, the videos of all these people being oppressed and killed, it is affecting some of them. So there's going to be a lot of people that might be, going towards the crowd, right? And this is why the Iranian regime wants to bring in enforcers from Afghanistan or Yemen or Libya or somewhere like that, because their own officers might not be very interested in treating the people like that.
Yeah,
Some of them, not
that's the thing. I mean, the regular officer is somebody who goes to work, who enforces the law that he is told, and then at the end of the job, he goes home to his family. If such a person goes out there and is confronted by the population, it is very intimidating and discouraging to actually be
right.
openly violent against
Yeah.
them, because you will have to go home and to walk among these people in the
Yes.
end. And
Also, the thing is that their fridges are empty now too, right? So it
mhm.
used to be that the people's fridges were getting emptier and emptier, and the people close to the regime, their fridges were filled with food. I mean, they had like money, but now the suffering is spreading so much that they're noticing that they can't even take care of us anymore. So that
Mhm.
also is making a lot of people. But okay, so we don't have any videos of what happened to to her before, because we only saw her dying at the place where so they arrested her, and they took her to a class where they're supposed to teach her about Islam, and this is what happened actually to my mother. My mother and my aunt was arrested for their improper hijab, and they take you to Islamic classes and teach you like why you're supposed to wear your hijab properly, to keep the country safe, to not tempt our young boys who have sacrificed so much for the country. Which is very funny because my mom got arrested because her hijab was red. Back then, you couldn't have color for hijab. Now you can, but back then you couldn't, right? And my mom was very clever because they told her like, why are you doing this to our young men? They have sacrificed so much for war, and now you're tempting them and making them sin with your like lustful hijab and stuff like that. And my mom responded to them like, no, you don't understand. My hijab is red in honor of the blood that they have that they have sacrificed for the regime. So for the country. But anyway, that didn't work, but it was kind of clever.
That's
So
amazing. I didn't notice about your mother that she was actually arrested for
oh
such a
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Oh yeah, my mom was got in so much trouble. My mom was also, yeah, my mom was a rebel.
that's
Um
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and she died an atheist, by the way. So
Oh,
yeah. So Mahsa Amini, who died, she died in the class that she was like, apparently after all these years they still have those classes. They arrest you, they take you to these classes, and you're supposed to watch the lecture. And the video of the classes, like there's like 50 other girls there that they arrested for. They have a quota that they have to meet every day of girls that they have arrested for. And this was in Tehran, right? So and that's where she died, but we don't know what happened before they're in the car, in the van, right? We don't have a footage of that yet, but we do have footage of other women being arrested. So we could have an understanding of what might have happened to her.
Oh,
Okay,
let's see
so
that.
this is okay, so these are some other arrests, the way women are treated in Iran by the morality police because of their improper hijab. So here's them.
Jeez.
You see that her head hit the van. They have her daughter in the car. This is the mother was trying to stop her. Anyways,
This is so messed up. I don't
yeah.
know. These are the honorable authorities who are supposed to take care of. These people are not supposed to take care of the population of the people. They are supposed to take care of their Islamic revolution, of their Islamic government, and the humans don't actually matter at all. They are just
Yes.
little objects that are supposed to strengthen this Islamic government, and you see it here.
Yeah. I want to watch this one. This is kind of crazy. So one more sign to show you the bravery. These are all officers on motorcycle, okay? In front of them, one girl. Look at this. But like the bravery, like she's standing up to the whole line of officers just by herself. Look at that.
Wow.
It's crazy. And they say be sharp.
Yeah.
Be sharp means without honor. Yeah.
So there are some amazing things here. The woman is alone there in front of those strong men and protesting. She's pushed, and the guys over here immediately react to it and insult the officer and protest. And I don't know, it's just...
Yeah. I have so much more here. Let me do one more. I have so many things I want to show you. I don't know. I'm going to try to go through them fast. Here's more hijab burning. Wait, I can't. I'm going to not play the music because it might be copyrighted. But look at this. This one also does the circle, because the circle apparently is now the way you burn your hijab. Everyone's saying their circle before they burn their hijab.
That's so iconic, though. It's like a symbol of freedom.
Yeah.
Wow. It is really so iconic. It's like it has some very great symbolism in there.
So this one is the one you have here on the cover, right? So
I made this the thumbnail of the video.
Yeah. They used to put the hijab on a stick, but now they put it on a stick and burn it. So that's the new thing. Here's another.
Can you show that photo quickly? Again, can you open that photo?
Oh, here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's a line of a bunch of cars there in protest. The population is in protest, and she is on top of one. Her hijab on a stick, burning, and making a sign for victory, and people are applauding. That's amazing, man.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get this one. Okay, more hijab burning. I like the hijab burning videos the most.
Wow.
Okay, this one is very intense. Another So this is these are all, by the way, these are all, everything I'm showing you has been happening in the past week. Okay, and there's so much more videos, but this, like, they cut the internet and we're still getting this many these videos. Imagine what else we would get if the internet was not cut, like, because people keep like waiting for go to different parts of Tehran where there is internet, but every place where there's a protest, they cut the internet. Anyways, look at this guy. This is the officer, and he's like trying to be alpha and strong and go in the middle of a protester, and let's go look what happens to them. Oh wait, I need to cut the music so you don't get a copyright strike. Sorry. So look at this. He's going at the protesters, and he has like, look at what he's in. He has like an electric. I don't know what is that called. Taser. It has taser. Yeah. I like look what the people do.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh man, I don't want to laugh at somebody being beaten, but I mean, the guy probably went in there really thinking, intimidating people, thinking I won't be attacked, they will just run away, but you see what happens as a result.
I wouldn't feel sorry for him because this video gets cut, but right after this, he actually takes out his guns and he starts shooting at people. Jeez. And I don't think I could show that here on the channel because that will get you a strike. So, but don't feel sorry for him because he actually starts shooting at people. Wow. Yeah. But yeah, people are defending themselves. I wouldn't feel like.
Okay, I see Kurdish women. This happened in the Kurdish region. Oh no, she was from the Kurdish region, right? She was.
Yes, actually, that is very significant. Okay, this might be too much detail. Okay, so she was from the Kurdish region of Iran, but she was visiting Tehran for fun with her family, right? And this happened to her in Tehran. But the fact that she's Kurdish adds a much more complication to the situation, okay? Because the Kurdish people, first of all have been ahead of all other Iranians when it comes to taking a stance against the Islamic Republic of Iran, okay? So they are, from the very beginning of the Islamic Republic, they were the strongest ones standing up against the regime, right? But they also have within them some of them that are separatists, right? Mm-hmm. And the Islamic Republic has always, because the Iranian people are very sensitive about not losing any part of Iran, right? So that's a major fear that Iranian people have. They want to keep Iran intact without losing any part of it, right? So the regime tries to scare Iranian people to not fight against the regime because the Kurds or the Turks or the Arabs or the Baluchis might take pieces of Iran away. So especially the Kurds, right? So a lot of Iranian people that are, yes, like they say, some Iranian people are like, yes, I'm against the regime, but we have to defend the regime because I don't want my beautiful Iran to get cut in pieces and stuff like that, right? However, these protests, the regime is trying to do the same thing as well. The regime was trying to like show like, oh my God, the Kurds are going to separate your beautiful Iran or whatever. But Iranian people outside of Kurdistan have been not buying that anymore, right? So there has been a union among Iranian peoples right now that we haven't seen ever before. Like the Kurds and the Turks and the Baluchis and the Lurs and the Fars, if there is such a thing, and everyone else are like, we're all in this together, and you cannot divide us. There was a beautiful chant that Iranian people have during these protests in the rest of Iran, that they are saying that the Kurdistan is, and it's something, I don't know how to translate this in English. It's the heart. It's our heart. It's like, it belongs, like, it's a valuable part of Iran. It's much more poetic than what I'm saying this, but they were celebrating Kurdistan and like, we are supporting Kurdistan. But the Kurds are also this is like, when you, in Iran, even people who are not religious, they have this honor culture, right? So you taking out a woman that is Kurd is like a very big deal, right?
Yeah.
So this is like, fighting back against the regime now, it becomes a matter of honor because you took out, like, she was there, she came out of the Kurd part of Iran, and she was there as a guest in Tehran, and you delivered her back to us dead, right? This is like a major insult, and they want revenge, right? And and the Iranian people are saying you cannot, that this is not Kurd versus Fars or Kurd versus Turk. Like the Turkish people were having chance in Turkish Iranian people were having chance in support of the Kurdish brothers. Like it was so. It's, I don't know. I can't go over the chance with them, but it's a message of union. Like religious people are even now joining people against the regime. Some people are saying like coming out and supporting the regime. Some religious people are coming out and saying like the regime actually is planning to burn Qurans. Did you know? This is actually amazing. Okay, the regime is planning. The Islamic Republic of Iran is trying to come out and burn the Quran to tell religious people not to be against the protesters, because look at what they're doing. Like they're saying like if you get rid of the regime, these are the people that will be in power, the people who burn Qurans, right? And the religious people are saying like, no, we're going to support some religious people are saying we're going to support the protesters, and if we see anybody burning a Quran, we're going to say that the regime did that, because we know that that's their tactics, right? So this is what's happening. But anyways, let me show you this video. Okay, look at this. These are police cars.
This is not to be taken lightly, by the way. I mean, in America, protesters can attack police cars. They don't have that much to fear. In many other countries, they can attack police cars. They can attack authorities. Even, I would say, even Turkey. Like I was in Turkey during the great protests in 2013 in Istanbul, and I walked by, like after a protest, I walked by, I don't know, destroyed water tank vehicles of the police vehicles burnt down and stuff like that. But in Iran, standing up to the authorities like this and
Yeah.
attacking their property, their cars, this takes serious courage.
Well, I mean, this also takes serious courage. Let me actually give you some context about how much courage this takes, okay? The woman who are taking off their hijab as a protest, the woman that did that in the previous protest, they were like much less than this, right? Now it's like at a much bigger scale, but they got punished severely. Some of them got years in prison, years, like 20 years, like really crazy amount of time in prison, right? So that's what you get for taking off the hijab. And they're still, not, even though they know that what's happened to other women, they're still doing it. Okay. And these people that are like attacking the officers like this, the other people who did that in the 1,500, based on Reuters report, 1,500 people that we know of were shot to death in the streets, and many people after were executed. Right, so that's the like in United States, if you attack a police car, you might get prison sentence. Right, here you could be shot dead, okay, or get executed after your arrest. So that's they know this, and they're still doing it. So way braver than I could ever be. Right,
That is very significant. Yeah.
Let me show you. Like this is this looks like. Watch this. First, by the way, this is a religious flag here. It says Hussein on it, right? So it's amazing that this is happening right under this flag. But when you watch this, it looks like a scene from a movie where people are running away from like a zombie attack, okay? But instead of zombies, they're attacking, they're running away from people that are supposed, in other countries, were supposed to protect you and are supposed to keep you safe. But look in Iran, this is how people feel about their police. Instead of like feeling, when you see police, when I see police in Canada, I feel like, oh, good, I'm safe. Okay. But when you see police in Iran, this is the feeling you get. Like you're running away from a zombie attack. Look at this. Oh, okay. I have to mute it because the music might be copyrighted. Look at this. These are all because the police is coming this way, and look, they're trying to like, please let us in. They're asking neighbors like, okay, somebody open the door. Open the door for them to let them in. Now everybody's going in, and now the camera from in. Come. Look, I guess they're all running. Hey, close the door. And look what happens. Look what happens. Let me in. There's the police. Look, they can get in, but they make sure to break as much glass as they can. And look, and the guy comes back. Let me break more glass. Like, what does that do? Like, they are so full of hate. They're just like, oh, I can't get in. I have to go, but let me just break some glass.
That's so. Oh yeah.
It's so yeah.
And quickly, Black Angel said, "Armin, do you have this video of the girl with the green hair yelling at the police?"
Yes, I do. It's coming soon.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have it with audio. I should have looked for the audio, but you will still get what's happening. This was here, like you can actually read it. It was a Khamenei's billboard. Okay, so this was a billboard of Khamenei. Also, they also burned a big banner of Qasem Soleimani. I don't know if you want to see that, but I think this is enough because this is the last part. But yeah, Qasem Soleimani banners are being burned down as well.
That's a huge thing. The guy's wow.
All right,
you cannot do that. That goes against all morality there.
Yeah. All right, so this is one of the women without a hijab. Look at what she's saying. So they're here to arrest her, right? And she's like, "You can't take me." Yeah. Police is like, "Come down." And the woman says, "I'm not coming down." I'm not coming down. I'm not coming down. I'm not coming, I said. Yeah, come down. Don't you dare touch me. Don't you dare touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch her. Don't touch me. Oh, look, she went back up. I didn't know that. They're taking her. Hold on. Like, don't you touch me. Is that I'm not standing here for my scarf. My hijab is fine. Yeah, just for this, we're just showing our hair. Look how she's standing up. It's pretty strong. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I think
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I sent you a link, by the way, in the private chat here on stream. Yeah, just to get that video if you.
Oh yeah, I was gonna show you the same thing, but I think you got a better one. I had that. Yeah, I was okay. Good. This is good here. So look. Oh yeah, you got the one with the audio. Okay, so this is really good. Look at so this video is really good because like all these men with all these guns and military gear and everything, and there's one girl, but look how defiant she is and stands in front of them. Look at her. God, like the balls on this one, Jesus! Like honestly, I'm not this brave. I don't know. This is crazy.
I know this is that it really. I mean, you can talk as much as you want here, looking at this, but it's really standing there in front of authority in such a country with such authority, standing there so bravely, especially as a woman. Wow.
Yeah. Is turning, the whole thing is turning into like a war zone. Like, look at this. But
Wow.
yeah, hold on, look at this one. So, by the way, let me actually remove this. I'm going to tell you a few things.
Think about this. Think about really think about what's happening here. Women are arrested in brutal ways, beaten, and die because of their hair, because of the hijab, because of hair covering, because people can see her hair, and she might be like enticing and arousing the men, and showing her hair, her natural hair, might be, disrespectful and harmful to the Iranian government and its values. This is why, because of hair, people are being arrested, beaten, and apparently killed. And still, it is happening during the protest. It is still happening that because of hair, authorities come and want to arrest you and forcibly take you, beat you, and people finally stand up to such insanity.
Yes. By the way, guys, please share this video because this is not being highlighted enough. Okay, so more people, like, remember, especially if you are American, you owe it to the rest of the world, because when something like this happens in your country, the rest of the world brings attention. So please return the favor. Okay, when other people need you to bring attention to something, the rest of the world, please kind of like show them the respect to highlight their plight. I also want to show you what's here. This is Mahsa Amini, where the day that she died. Okay, that's her picture as well. So this is her. Let me do without audio, right? So you can see this is after she was arrested. These are the vans that they put the girls in, right? And this is where they offload them, and they're supposed to come here, and this is where they enter the class. And this is Mahsa, right? And you can see the woman with the chador. So these women are just like with Rusari, which is like a less conservative version of the hijab. And you can see the woman who has a chador is because she's more conservative, she's probably a staff working there, right? So she goes inside. Okay, so she's inside the class now, and this is where the lecture is supposed to be given. This is probably staff. This is also because she's wearing each other. She's probably staff. And the key thing here is this over here, okay? Because they didn't give us any timestamps. So the only timestamps that we have is daylight. So we can see that there's a daylight here.
Uh-huh.
And because we could see that there was a major cut because it turned black, right? So this is her, Master, coming in. So she takes a seat here. Oh, so here, this was turned black. So they know that there was a major part of the video that was not shown. Like there was a major. So again, some people are wondering if there anything happened here, but probably not, because it would be obvious if something significant happened here. But she gets up, and this is another staff member. You can see that she's wearing more conservative clothing, and she comes and asks her. So we can't hear what she's saying, but based on her body language, it kind of seems like she's asking, I don't know if they have the full video here, what's wrong with my outfit, right? Like, look, she's like, look at my outfit, because she's arrested for her outfit. Like, look, I have like fully covered, lady. Like everything is covered. What the hell? Why am I arrested, right? I mean, her hijab, she's like her, yeah. So it's embarrassing. And then after that, okay, it doesn't show an important part because this lady actually grabs her clothes. But she doesn't. It doesn't show that. But she had to grab her clothes, and she kind of spoke to her in this insulting way, showing her that this is what's wrong with your outfit, right? But then what happens here is that she holds her head and she goes like this, and then she falls, right? So, and then after a while, paramedics come and try to treat her, and they take her. Okay, but again, we don't know what happened because she was completely healthy, and then a couple of hours after her arrest, that's what happened to her. And there were reports of her in the hospital. She had bleeding out of her ear, and so many experts are trying to figure out what this out. But a lot of people are saying this would make a heart problem would not explain this. Okay, a lot of people, what they're saying is that what explained this is something hitting her head while she was in the van.
I
right?
also have this thing here. I saw this article here by on Al Arabiya News. Massamini's medical scans show skull fractures caused by severe trauma,
Yeah,
and the report also says that eyewitness reports say that she was treated very badly during the arrest, and she was beaten, which I read earlier. I can't really show the point at the thing here, but I was just reading up on the whole issue just to get an idea. But yeah, that's what I got out of this. So we actually have medical records which show that she had uh, that there was severe trauma to her head. And I don't know if you know this detail. I read earlier that records were leaked. They were not
leaked. Yes,
officially announced. They were
yes,
leaked and then spread unofficially. And there was
yes.
also the hospital, I believe, that she was sent to made a statement about how she had severe trauma to her head. And then the post was deleted. It was, I think, on the hospital's official page or somewhere online, but it was deleted. I mean, that's what I found so far.
Yeah, I mean, so they are saying these are all lies, which, I mean, I'm not going to trust the regime about what they're saying, right? So again, what you're saying is the most likely scenario, but again, because the leaked images of her brain didn't have any names on it, we just kind of have to accept that this was hers. Um, Again, I want to just be as skeptic. I just want to not say anything that is eventually going to, because what if I say, oh yeah, these were her images, and then it comes out that somebody was lying and they took someone else's images, right? Um, I just know that you can't trust the regime, but you also shouldn't like be too eager to accept anything that might suggest that you're right, like because we want to, because we're very anti-regime, so any evidence that comes that shows that, oh yeah, she was hit in the head, we might just be tempted to just accept that. I just want
But
to be
mhm.
careful about that, you know. I mean, I,
Just to go through that footage that we just had. So this happens after she's arrested for her hijab. She's arrested. We
yes,
don't know. We have no footage. We have nothing. No information about what exactly happened when she got arrested, or on her way to these lectures and whatever it is. But there are eyewitness reports that she was treated badly and that she was beaten. And
yes,
then, as she is going to these lectures, for which she is going because of the hijab, uh,
yes,
in order to learn that she needs to wear the proper hijab and she needs to abide by Islamic laws and so on. There, the only thing that we see is she walks in there, and then a long time later, she has an exchange with an authority about the hijab she's wearing,
yeah,
which gets into a little heated exchange, and then she, out of nowhere, collapses,
collapse, and then
and
they later dies in the hospital.
and then is taken to the hospital and dies of heart failure.
Not no no no
Oh,
heart
so
failure.
allegedly,
Heart, yeah.
allegedly.
Uh,
Sorry.
heart is okay. It's very unlikely that it was heart failure. Like based
Uh-huh.
on the experts, they're saying like that's the whatever the regime's explanation. Okay, the regime's explanation for what happened doesn't make any sense. Okay, they're saying that if she was hit in the head, it is like they have seen so many cases of people dying after look like talking normally, walking as if nothing happened, and then they had internal bleeding and then dying a couple of hours after. They say it would make sense if what happened to her was as a result of something hitting her head.
Mhm.
Other explanations don't make sense. This is what makes sense. Again, I'm not saying, but whatever. So here's the thing: whatever happened, she's dead because of the arrest, right? So we could say that the regime is responsible for her death, no matter what actually explains it. So that's what we know.
Porniger
Um,
said sudden collapse after head injury followed by brain death from massive swelling is very plausible,
that's what I heard by experts on TV. That this is like
and
the
heart failure is the regime story. Yeah.
yeah, that heart failure is a regime story, and a lot of experts say that makes no sense. That based on what they're saying, they're like, that's not how any of this works. Like,
Yeah. What
especially
I
for a
yeah.
22-year old healthy girl with no prior record of anything like that.
So I
So
was just going through the Wikipedia page to see evidence that people put on here, and what I read here is eyewitnesses said she was beaten and her head hit the side of a police car, which, in addition to her leaked medical scans, led others to diagnose cerebral hemorrhage and stroke as a result of head trauma. So
yeah, I also want to say something. One thing else that is happening has been happening around these events is that Khamenei's health has been um, there are rumors about him dying soon. Okay, um, and whether or not that is true, the fact that it's part of the conversation is might be emboldening some people. Okay, because again, the major thing that is different about these protests is one, that people are more daring. Two is that people are more radical, and they're more united, and the diversity of the people involved is higher. The number of people is higher. The strategies are better, but there also has a lot of people that either didn't take a side before or were on the regime side are now joining the people's side, right? We have a lot of celebrities who used to be silent about these things, and now they're taking the stance with the people, celebrities that are in Iran. And the fact that they are coming out because their entire career and everything relies on this, some people are suggest that they're seeing which way the wind is blowing. And if they're saying that the wind is blowing in the direction for the people, even if they're saying this out of their own self-interest, it's kind of suggests that people are noticing that the regime is not going to have the grip it has on the people for much longer, right? And again, the percentage of people who are pro the regime are low, but they are significant and they're important. And if they lose that, they lose everything. And seeing scenes of women dying for hijab reasons makes a lot of even religious people think like, not only we don't like this happening to girls, we don't like this happening to our girls in the name of Islam. Like, what the hell are you doing, right? But when Khamenei dies, the problem is that the minority of the people that are pro-regime, one thing that is holding them together is this holy image that they have of Khamenei as this person that is kind of like God's representative on earth, right? When he dies, whoever comes next, which like now people are saying the most likely next supreme leader is Mujtaba Khamenei, which is Khamenei's son. The other candidate is Raisi, Ali Khomeini, and Alam al-Huda. But the main candidate for the next supreme leader seems to be Mujtaba Khamenei, which is Khamenei's son. Whoever it is, though, there's going to be some of the people who are loyal to Khamenei that are not going to be loyal to the next person. So there's going to be another fracture, because when Khomeini died, there was a drop of support. So when Khamenei dies, there's going to be also another drop of support. And it's just hard to imagine for how much longer the regime is going to be able to maintain this grip with all of these things aligning with each other, right? I don't know. I looked at studies. It seemed so every protest is getting more significant than the one before, and based on the studies, there's no dictator that has managed to maintain power. Like, if you look at all protests in Rwanda history, okay, if you get 3.5% of the population participating in the protest, there has been no regime in history that has been able to survive that. So, and that number is growing in Iran. So
Yeah.
go on. What do you want to show? Is this?
Oh yeah, I just pulled up this article in which it says CCTV videos of the event released later by the Tehran police show her collapsing to the ground at the moment of her arrest. Amini's brother was told she would be taken to a detention center to undergo a briefing class and released shortly afterwards. She never made it. Amini instead arrived at Kasra Hospital, where she died on Friday after being in a coma for 3 days. In a now deleted Instagram post, the hospital claimed she was brain dead on arrival. Resuscitation was performed on the patient. Now deleted Instagram post. The heartbeat returned and the patient was admitted to the intensive care unit. They originally wrote reports to The Guardian. Unfortunately, after 48 hours on Friday, the patient suffered a cardiac arrest again due to brain death. Despite the efforts of the medical team, they failed to revive her and the patient died. Witnesses claim she was beaten by the patrol in the van, which was intending to take her to a detention center. So, yeah, the hospital actually published a report from on that she was brain dead when she arrived, and the post was deleted. Yeah.
and they told the doctor told the father that I could write whatever I want and there's nothing you could do about it. That's what the doctor officially told the father when we was there. Can I show you three more short videos, just
Yeah,
three,
sure. Go ahead.
because I just want people to hold on, sorry, just to see, because so we don't have videos of what happened here, but we have videos of here I have it. Yeah, can you bring it up?
Oh yeah.
Okay, we have videos of other times the regime treated girls. So let me see if this was. Yeah, so we could see their record even if we don't have this video. Get this. So they're arresting her. Wait, the girl. Oh no, they have her friend in the car and she doesn't want them to let them leave. So just run over. Did you see it? Did you just
Wow.
see that?
Wow.
Right? So she was trying to stop them from not okay. And here's a similar video. This is crazy. Like, I can't believe the audacity. They're just like, oh yeah, you're in front of a car, we're just gonna run over you. It's unbelievable. Like, who are these people? But guess worse. I don't know if I could show. Okay, yeah, I think I can show this, right? Because it's already.
Can you maximize those videos like full screen?
I mean, because they're YouTube Shorts.
Oh,
I can zoom in. Yeah, because they're YouTube Shorts. That's how you see it. Like,
what happens if you double click on it? No, that's dumb. Okay.
So this is the mother in front of the car saying, "You arrested my daughter." This is my daughter is sick. I think I'm not sure, but I think I heard like people with this one, her daughter was mentally handicapped or something like that. And like, dude, like, stop arresting her. She doesn't know what you're doing. Okay. So she's like in front of the car trying to stop the car, and the car is just going. The mother's.
Jesus.
She's just in front of it. She's in front of the car.
I mean, this is a demonstration of how the regime, how the authority has no respect for human life. It doesn't. Human life, human well-being doesn't matter. What matters is the ideology and the well-being of the state and the religion.
Yeah. Also, this one is kind of the most intense one. We saw a little part of this, but I want to show you the full version, because it's not just that. So this is the one that you saw. They grab her hair and they hit her head in the top of the van, but you didn't see the first part. The first part of this is that they use this tool to pull her in, and the tool is what they use for dogs. This is what you hold dogs with, and that's what they have her with. So they had something around her neck that they're pulling her in. Oh,
gee, that's
And they hit her head to the top of the van when they were pulling her in. And the lady was like holding her hair. It's like insane.
The guy just pushes her, shoves her, regardless of what happens. And she's, with that push, she hits her head, and nobody cares. It's like.
And they have all this Islamic morality, like religious stuff around their car. It just makes them like. And the thing is that they act like they're upholding morality. Like they genuinely think like they're the good guys. They're like, we're obviously making the world a more moral place by doing some stuff like this. It's insane. It's insane.
They're called guidance patrol or something. Is it what is the name of it?
They're called Gasht Irshad, which is like the best translation is morality police.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's all like basically based on the Quranic commandment, Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar, like supposed to, that part.
Supposed to enjoin good and forbid
evil.
Evil, yeah.
And it's actually such a horrible thing in the Quran, because it's supposed to be not just the regime; it's supposed to be everybody, right? And you can see religious people in Iranian streets like trying to do civilian arrests, or be their own police, and it just turns people against each other. It's just such an ugly thing, you know. They're just trying to do vigilante justice as if there is responsibility to uphold Islamic laws, even though they're not like a police or anything, because the Quran said that you have to do it. So yeah, it's
So,
crazy.
as I see it, the only solution for this madness to end is that the Islamic regime is uh, goes down. What do
Yeah,
you think? Do you agree?
yeah.
And what do you think is the future?
That's what they want, because there's nothing, because they want short of that. Like they don't, if yeah, this is actually very important, okay? Because if the regime feels threatened, at some point they might give in to certain things, right? They might say like, okay, hijab is voluntary. Okay, we're gonna get rid of the morality police, okay? But just be ready for that, because if people outside of Iran start celebrating that, we have to shut that celebration down, right? Because the people in Iran, they're saying that our problem is not just with the hijab, is not with the morality police. Our problem is with the regime. We do not accept anything other than removing this regime. That's what the demand of the people are. If you look at the chants in the street, that's like all the chants are directed at completely remove the regime, and at Khamenei himself, at the regime itself. There's nothing else that they're asking for, right? And there's no reformists that they believe in, or they're like any part of this government that could come and make some reforms. Reform, they see it as a lie that they give hope for people for just a while, and then they eventually come back and crack down again,
I
like
mean,
they did
there's a
before.
thing they would consider making compromise and saying, or they would just keep that up their sleeve and say, if it comes to a
Yeah.
very bad thing, then we will just make some promises, some compromises, and we will say, hey, the population wants this, so we will do this. But especially considering that the supreme leader Khamenei is part of the actual system of the government.
Yeah.
They would not. I mean, he is the state basically. It's
Yeah.
not. They wouldn't just let go of the power and cancel themselves. It's not. You can't expect that. They have to be taken down.
Yeah. And here's the thing, the regime is actually afraid of the religious people in Iran as well. Okay. Because that's the only support that they have left. I mean, a portion of religious people. And if, for example, they say, like, okay, we're going to make the hijab voluntarily, the people who are supporting them, they're like, they might lose that. They might be like, what the hell? We did an Islamic revolution, so for you to uphold Islamic laws, like, do your job. This is what we brought with this Islamic revolution for. So this is what they're kind of stuck between a hard and a rock place. Like, if we keep the mandatory hijab, then we're going to have more images, like more stuff like this happening, and more people are going to leave our side and join the people. But if we remove the mandatory hijab and make it voluntarily, we're going to have a significant base that is the only people who are supporting us. And then what are we going to do then? So either way, either way they're screwed, and they're panicking.
Yeah.
You can see that they're panicking because they are, like, right now on national TV, they're actually debating this topic, which is crazy. Like, I've never seen them debating this topic, whether mandatory hijab is a good thing on national TV in Iran. That's unprecedented. It shows that they're panicking. For the first time, they showed some image views. They had some TV on national TV. They were showing the protest while including the chant saying "Death to Khamenei." So that was unprecedented as well. I've never seen the Seda Sima, which is the
Wow.
national TV in Iran, do that. So they used to deny that there's a problem, right? Like acting like everything is hunky dory and everything. These are just a few people. It's getting to the point that it's everywhere. Like, it's such an obvious lie that they're actually covering it, right? Because they can't hide it
Yeah.
anymore.
I remember from the last major protests that there was from the regime, they were not even acknowledging that people are actually protesting the idea that they're not that they're protesting the regime. They were trying to explain it away by different things, distorting footage, not showing what's actually happening, and they were
They
also
say
doing this whole thing.
Zionist agents. They all Zionist agents.
America and
Yeah,
Israel Zionists are behind these protests and stuff like that.
yeah.
But now people are actually exposed to
It's
what's
getting
happening.
to a point where, for me, it's hard to imagine how they're going to continue. Like, I'm not saying anything is going to happen, right? But I used to be able to imagine how the Islamic Republic can continue, right? But given that every protest we're setting new records and like crossing more red lines that was uncrossable before, like every protest is is making new milestones. So at some point, it's going to get to a place, it seems like it, where the regime is not going to be able to hold. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to make any predictions, but it's just hard for me to imagine how much longer can they keep a hold, unless they want to come and massacre the people, which they have shown the people.
Yeah.
They kept.
They
I
are
mean, if they
capable.
do, here's the thing. Okay, so it used to be people come in the streets, they start shooting everybody, and people will go home because they didn't want to die, right? But now there's a mix of both not having um, your rights and any liberties, right? Plus, at least back then, people didn't have liberties, but they had something to go back home to, right? They had food, they had family, they had work, right? Now it's getting to the point where so many people don't even have that, right?
Mhm.
So you're not free, and you don't have much to lose anyways, and the young people are rebellious. They don't have jobs, they don't have anything to look forward to. There's not that much to lose. So that makes a lot of Iranians very brave, because we can't get any, like, death doesn't seem as bad. I mean, I don't want to say this, I don't know how to say it, but I'm just saying, like, when you don't have much to look forward to, you become a much greater risk taker.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to say it as if I'm devaluing your lives. It's just like, that's just some seems to be the attitude, right?
No,
I
it's
don't
a
want to.
fact. That's how humans sketch. It's
Yeah.
pretty much a fact.
And
Yeah.
so if we keep going this way, it will eventually get to a point where even if the government comes out and starts shooting everybody just like they did in the previous protest, people are not going to go back home, right? Because
Mhm.
every time they went back home, I don't know what's going to happen when the government shooting people. Not only it's not going to make people leave, it's going to actually make them more people come out, right? Because when
Yeah.
you shoot people's sons and daughters and mothers and fathers, there's so many people like, okay, you shot my son, why would I stop? Like, I will fight you till death as well, because
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
nothing. All I had was my son. So what do I have to lose? So now, it will. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to
Mhm.
make. Anyways, by the way, anything I'm saying is not. I'm not giving any suggestions to anybody. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing. Okay, I'm just trying to bring more attention. By the way, again, AP,
Well,
Ridwan, thank you so
you
much.
can take everything Armin is saying as a direct command. To,
No, I
just
just
kidding.
want to thank you.
Uh,
I just want to thank you because you just responded to. I was like, you. Also, I know you're so busy with so many other things, but the fact that you thought this is so important that it needs coverage.
of
And
course.
guys, this video is not going to get monetized, okay? But AP thought that this is important enough for him to come and put this time. So I just want to say thank you.
No,
Thank you so much.
thank you for coming here and amplifying this. This is very important, very historic. People need to be exposed to this. We need to talk about this, and I hope we can at least contribute to spreading more awareness of what is happening. It is already being reported. We can already see major media sources reporting on what is happening. But sitting here together and going through all the footage and the details, making a lot of people aware of this is very significant. And I hope, and I ask that everybody actually shares this stream or goes out and shares news reports, shares what is happening out there. There is a lot of stuff that you can find on Twitter. People are sharing a lot of footage and reports directly from Iran, where you can see what is going on. You can go and share those, help spread awareness. By the way, I want to quickly say hi to Stardust. She's here. Hi, Stardust. Maybe you guys should talk. I don't know if you know her, but she does
No.
Twitch and YouTube videos, and
Oh, I would love to. Yes.
yeah,
By the way, can I share my screen, because I want to tell
yeah.
people, guys, please share. I just want to show the hashtags. Please, if you can, try to highlight what's happening in Iran, especially because the Iranian regime doesn't want you to, and that's why they're shutting down. If the Iranian regime is shutting down the internet, is because they don't want you to see any of this. Okay, so please make it not work. Please make it not work. Okay, if they are shutting down the internet, means that they're scared that you would notice. They're scared of you, or else they wouldn't be shutting down the internet. Okay, so make their fears legitimate. Okay, you could actually help in taking down this dictatorship, this theocracy, okay, this tyranny. You could be part of bringing down this authoritarian government. Okay, because if you highlighting this was not contributing, then the regime wouldn't be shutting down the internet. So you sharing this is probably doing something.
Absolutely.
And these are the hashtags. Okay, for English speakers, you could do hashtag Maso_Amini, or I've seen people use it without this underscore as well. So please, like, share anything you can and use the hashtag just so that the hashtag stays in the people, stays on social media longer. The more you use it, the longer people will talk about it, right? So yeah, so please do something, say something, share this video.
Yeah. Do it. Do you still have that one video, that the first video that we watched of the woman
Oh yes,
spinning and burning her? I want to see that again. I don't know. I found that so inspiring. And
oh, by the way, I'm gonna, like, there's more videos coming out. I'm gonna be sharing a lot more of this if you guys want on in this Sunday on the Atheist Republic channel. So me and Susanna will be updating anybody who wants to follow the most recent updates. So do you mind if I
go and or you can find Armin Navabi on his channel or their channel, Atheist Republic.
Atheist Republic, that's the best way to find us.
Atheist Republic, you can find him right there, and you can always listen to new reports from him and Susanna, and they will be covering this event and more updates about this. So
this
go
Sunday,
and subscribe.
Every Sunday we cover the news, and this Sunday we will be focusing on these protests. And if from now till Sunday more videos will come out, that's what I'm going to share, and we're going to go over more of these.
Do full screen, please, so we can see that.
Yes,
I just found this is so important.
This is the best. Yes.
Yeah.
Look how she jumps and so happy and free at the end when she. Look, one more time.
Yeah. This is amazing. I love this is one of the best things I've seen in a long time. It really makes me happy. This is so inspiring. I don't know.
Yeah. I knew you would like it. Yeah. And the crowd cheering, like, is perfect. The video is just it's 20 seconds of perfection. Everybody, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. This video should be remembered, like, for decades. That's how amazing it is, personally, to me. I don't know.
I hope it's not all in vain. Like, I hope something comes of it. Like, these people deserve better. Like, they really deserve better lives than this. And they are paying the price. They are paying the price for liberty. Okay, so make it count. Like, make it. I mean, if the regime doesn't fall or nothing happens, it's too big of a sacrifice for it not to end in anything. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's one thing that I want to address, because it's on my mind when we talk about this, but I wonder what you think about it. If you just want to quickly, very briefly go through that. So we're talking about change in Iran. The thing is, we had change before when people had a revolution, and this revolution turned into the Islamic Republic, which then basically shut everybody down and established brutal authoritarianism. Now, we say and we think, I genuinely think, the only solution is to get rid of the Islamic Republic regime. But then, now here's the thing. I can't imagine that happening without violence and without possibly a civil war. But if that happens, what would happen? I mean, would it be again, like, would we again have different factions, people trying to install their own system with the promise of bringing actual democracy, and things getting out of hand again? I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, so The first answer is I don't know. Okay. The second answer is that if I had to guess, which is like, is that it would be out of hand for a while. Okay, it would get kid it because the problem is that if the regime falls, we still have, I don't know, 10 or 20 million people that are, I mean, at least 10 people that are that were loyal to the regime. If a secular government comes, they're not just going to go home and be like, oh, okay, I guess we lost, so we're going to pack up and go home now, right? So I mean, if out of that 10 million, even only 100,000 of them decided to, because the Iranian regime is supposed to be um, the regime that brings about the coming back of the Mehdi, right? These people genuinely believe that, and they think that upholding the regime is more takes priority over anything else. So a lot of them are proudly say how much they're willing to sacrifice their own children for the sake of the regime. Like they will gift their children's lives to uphold this regime, right? And these people are so radical, and they're not just going to take this. So even if 100,000 out of this 10 million people decide that they want to not let a secular democracy survive, 100,000 people, that's a lot of people. I mean, ISIS at the height of it had like 40,000 members, right? And ISIS was not as well trained as these people. They have more guns, and they're battle tested. They have been in multiple wars. ISIS was a whole bunch of people coming from weird different places without no experience before. These are people who actually defeated ISIS. Okay, I mean in some battles, right? So they are going to be a major obstacle in the way. So it is possible. Again, I don't know. Maybe if the regime falls, maybe the day after you will have like a secular democracy, everything will be hunky dory. But I think that even if we have a period of civil war after the regime falls, long term is going to be better. I'm going to give you an example, not as a proof, just as an example. This doesn't prove anything, right? Like if you think about the French Revolution, right? When the French Revolution happened,
It was
if you
bloody.
just look, it was really bad. Okay, if you
bloody.
looked at what happened after, like if you were judging the success of the French Revolution maybe 10 years after it happened, you were like, no. I mean, it was bloody, and after that, a dictator came in power, right? So Napoleon came in power. So not only was it bloody, eventually led to another dictatorship, right?
It
So
is known as those who know history might be aware of the term. It is known as the Reign of Terror.
Yes,
During the French Revolution, where the revolutionaries took over and basically began killing and executing a
everybody,
lot of
including the
people who
people
were
with their,
yeah yeah
including
yeah
their own. They started
yeah
chopping off everyone's head
yeah
off. Everybody that looked at you funny, they chopped your head off, right?
yeah.
But if you judged the success of the French Revolution maybe 10 years or 20 years after it happened, you would probably have a negative, like, no, it wasn't worth it. Okay. But if you judged it 200 years after it happened, you were like, it was worth it. It not only made France better, it made the world better. Right. So the French Revolution was worth it looking back at it 100 years after it happened. Right. So the thing is that the first revolution that we're talking about that happened, the Islamic Revolution that happened, okay, that was an uninformed revolution. Okay, the people picked something without knowing what they were picking. Okay, they didn't even read Khomeini's book. They didn't even, but like they had no idea what this man was standing for. Okay, and they picked him. Right. The difference is now it's hard to make that mistake again, even if a dictator comes back in Iran. Okay, it's the people in Iran know, they've seen what other countries can be like. They know what they want. They refuse to accept a dictator. If a dictator has to be forced upon them, it's not going to be like the first time where they like kind of were fooled, right? But because the Iranian people are so much like, at that time Iranian people were religious. They wanted democracy, but they were also very religious. Now they want democracy and they want secularism. They want secularism.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but before the revolution,
Hmm.
the system was I mean, you can, I guess, long for it and praise it when it's gone, but there were a lot of problems, including people being kidnapped and taken by authorities who were opposed to the government, who were seen as a threat, and so on. A lot of people were complaining about mistreatment and authoritarianism, which is why they wanted change, and then they brought a change that
Well,
was also
yeah, there
bad.
were that, but much less than this regime.
Yeah. Okay.
Like relatively, that was heaven.
But
Okay. Yeah.
what was it? What was that called? What was their force called? I forgot.
Savak.
Oh yeah, Savak.
Savak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
there were problems and reports of oppression in the previous state.
Yeah. You couldn't
And
come and say like, fuck the king or something like that. You couldn't do that. Like you would
Yeah.
get like, yeah. So you couldn't
Yeah.
do that. But it was a dictatorship, but it was like a much milder dictatorship than this one. Okay?
So what you
And
have
also,
is you have something there. You have like authoritarianism there, and then people free themselves
wanted
from
liberty.
that in hopes of finally being free and having a choice. Make a revolution, ends up in a much worse form of authoritarianism. So if now people knowing their history would again go for a change, they would probably try harder with more awareness, make sure to
Yeah.
really attain freedom.
There seems
That's
to
what I think.
be a major demand for secular democracy, even among some religious people in Iran, right? It is like it. The problem is that the majority of people wanting that doesn't guarantee that that's what's going to happen. In a power vacuum, the people who are the most organized and have access to the most weapon, they're going to come on top, right? So it might be another religious government, okay? But I'm just saying that even if that happens in the short term, even if there's chaos in the short term, even if it's another dictator in the short term, I mean, these are unlikely. It could be secular democracy right away, right? Especially, it could be also secular democracy right away, given that a lot of other countries would be motivated to help the Iranian people. Like if the regime falls, there might be a lot of outside support to make sure that. I mean, I don't know. You can never count on that, right? But I'm just saying the longer term direction seems to be that dictatorships are not going to survive in Iran. That's what I think. Okay,
Yeah.
so even if there's a short term heavy cost, and again, this is actually, I have to be careful, okay, because I don't want to suggest for people to do anything. This is just theorizing, right? That at the end of the day, the Iranian people who live in Iran, they're going to do what they're going to do, right? So if we say, oh, the toppling of the regime might lead to good things or bad things, well, we're not living in Iran, so it's not really up to us at all to what's going to happen, right? So it's not like we're telling anybody there to topple the regime or not topple the regime. We're just looking at what I want to be clear. What I want to do is look at what's happening there and support whatever decisions are made, and just be there and see how could I serve or bring attention to the cause. Okay, so if I ever say this might happen or that might happen, it's because I'm asked. I'm not making any suggestions. I am just receiving the orders from the people in Iran. They're telling me, please do this, please bring attention to this. And I'm like trying to
You're just a
respond
messenger.
to. Yeah, I'm just trying to respond to that message. Yeah.
Well, what do you think about this here? So Mike No Go Zone said in a super chat, I read on Twitter that the Iranian government is summoning Hezbollah to be their enforcers. Will this backfire on the government even more? If so,
I mean, I just hope it doesn't start racism, because that's gonna okay. Because a lot of that might. I heard that before. I don't know how easy that's going to be, like, because Hezbollah already is, to pay Hezbollah with what, what I mean. Hezbollah is already, it's going to cost so much. If they do that, it's not going to help the regime. It's actually going to help the protesters, right? Because it does two things, right? First of all, if they bring foreigners to attack Iranians, that's going to really anger Iranians. That you have again, honor culture is strong even among non-religious people in Iran, right? So if you have foreign men beating Iranian women, that is a red line for some more people to be motivated to come into the street. Like,
Mhm.
wow. Okay. So again, I'm talking honor culture here. Okay. But another thing is that if they bring Hezbollah in, okay, it's a signal to the people that they're desperate, that they must not have enough resources to have to bring in help. So they know that they must have been that would be a signal to the people that the pressure is working, because
Mhm.
the assumption is that, oh, we have so much, like we're showing you, like the police that we have in the streets, that's just 1% of 1% of what we could do to you. If we wanted to crush you, we have like the entire IRGC and the Artesh, and we could just take it. We're showing you mercy, right? So if that's the understanding, like, well, we could crush you anytime we want, right? But if you bring in Hezbollah, they're like, wait, what the hell happened? We thought you had so much resources.
Yeah.
Then why are you bringing the Hezbollah? So the people would think that, okay, we must be getting close to the point where we have exhausted
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the resources if they have to bring Hezbollah. So that would be a signal to the people to push to move in even harder.
That's basically like okay, let me not mess this up by bringing in another conflict, but yeah. Uh, D. Boudreau said, "What do you think will happen with the protests when Racy gets home?" So you
So
already
they
speculated on that
the
briefly.
guess is, again, I'm not sure. I'm just reporting what people are saying from the ground. Okay, the guess is that when Racy come homes, it will open the government's hand to go more aggressive, because the assumption is that one reason why they might be holding back is because Racy is in New York and it's going to look very bad, right? I don't know, but that's the guess. So yeah, that's the people are saying that when Racy's back home, they're gonna pick up on the. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I also saw earlier. I saw earlier news reports about Racy, that he actually abandoned a CNN interview because the interviewer refused to wear a hijab, a headscarf.
Unbelievable. Wow.
So the report that I have is, wait a minute, what is this? I hate this. These news sites bring these huge advertisements onto their screens, and then I can't view it. But here, the headline says Iran's president abandons CNN interview after Amanpour declines headscarf demand. So he accepted their
Oh, it's
interview
Amon
request.
Poor. Good job, Amon Poor.
Yeah,
Thank you. Good, good,
he
good.
he wanted to. He accepted their interview request and said under the condition that Amanpour, who is of Iranian origin, wears a headscarf during the interview. Amanpour refused to do that. So he then left and said, "I'm not going to attend the interview." And this is
Which is
the
amazing. Ahmadinejad did her interview with Amanpour without her wearing the hijab, so there's that. It's I was trying to find an image. I can't find it, but it was showing like the Iranian officials, like I think it was the foreign minister or something. I don't remember, when they were meeting with like reporters. The reporter was wearing the hijab, or was it a politician? I forgot. Right on camera, you could see like he was meeting with another official, full hijab. Like this foreign lady was wearing the hijab, right? Because she had to be next to her. But then there was another camera which was like capturing the whole thing zoomed out. And the assistant of the person that was talking to the Iranian official, she had no hijab, legs showing and everything right there, but just off, like outside of the frame. So it's just like all for show, because like,
yeah. It's
yeah,
just on
yeah.
camera. It's supposed to look like you are totally everything is in compliance with the Islamic morality,
Yeah,
but
so
in the
Sarah
background,
is
it doesn't
saying,
really matter.
yeah, so like during the time here, he's like seeing all women without hijab, and he's next to them. Like that's not the issue. The issue is the image back home, because Racy already has a picture, because since he came to New York, sitting at a table with alcohol on the table, and that's already costing them. That's gone viral. People are like, "Oh my God, you're sitting at a table with alcohol, you hypocrite." So he's not like drinking alcohol, but the fact that he's sitting at a table that alcohol is being served is costing him major PR points back at home, right? So they have to be very careful what pictures are taken of them, especially because these hardliners used to attack the reformists in Iran for sitting at tables with alcohol being served on it, right?
Yeah. That's funny. Lost fans at first Iran, then Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the rest of Islam. Freedom.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
well,
Yeah.
well, that's like the rest of the Islamic world has to be happening from the bottom up. It's not going to all be
Yes.
revolutions and protests.
Yes.
This is like,
Yes.
yeah, we don't want it to be for the revolutions and protests. Okay, this is like Iran is a special case. Iran is like in the rest of the Islamic world, we rather it happening because people are just changing their minds. We don't want this is too high of a cost for people to pay for their freedom, right? Like we preferably not.
I wouldn't. I said this before when people ask, but I wouldn't actually approve of. I would not. I would personally not support external forces going into Iran and forcibly changing the government or the regime.
Yeah.
That would just mess the whole situation up even more. It would make situations much worse. It wouldn't be any favor to the people at all. What needs to happen is that the people themselves stand up, voice their opinion, wake up, and bring the change themselves. And that's why this is so significant. That's why those videos of the women, I don't know, taking off their hijabs, burning them, dancing, of people clashing with the police, and supporting the victims, attacking the authorities, and saying we are not afraid. You have no honor. That's why these images are so inspiring and so significant, because we see that the people themselves actually stand up and do something. You can't force them to change.
They have to make the position of being with the Islamic Republic such a shameful thing to like, because at some point Iran, like, these are the people who are working with the regime, they're Iranian people as well, but it's what the Iranian people are doing. Like, how much longer can they keep this off? This has become such an unrewarding position, such a shameful job to have. Like, they're going to have problems recruiting, and they're going to have problems maintaining positions of the people that are working with them. Like, these are Iranian people. At some point, some of them would feel like crap beating other Iranian people, right? Like, a lot of these people who have left the regime said that they hated themselves for the jobs that they had to do. Like, we had in the previous protests, we had Basijis, like people part of the morality police or whatever, burning their Basiji cars and stuff on camera. I say I joined the police, or like to protect the people, not to attack the people, right? So at some point, I think the only way you could get the regime to fall is for the people who are working with the regime eventually, for them to eventually join the people's side. So this is not just a battle of guns and might and who has the higher force. Okay, this is also a battle for the hearts and minds of the people who are pro regime, right? And the tactics by protesters used to be to ask them to please join the people, okay, and that didn't work. Like, people, don't attack us, join us, like, put your guns down. But now I think the better tactic is to just shame them, to treat them, like dirt, like to make them feel crap about the fact that they are oppressing their fellow countrymen and women. And I think that's working, because the death of Mahsa Amini has created a reevaluation of priorities by a lot of people that used to be like, you have no idea, because I follow a lot of these religious people and pro-regime people. The way that they're talking is different. A lot of them are not talking at all, because they used to, at these moments, they used to come in and support the regime. Okay, a lot of them are just taking some of them come and saying, you know what, I'm not going to comment about anything ever again except foreign policy. Like, the fact that they're not defending the regime is just a new normal. And some of them are openly taking the opposite side. Like, it's unprecedented. Like, you have to be in the know to know how unprecedented the views are now. And it just maybe I am just looking at everything with rainbow colored glasses or whatever, rose colored glasses. But if I had this I don't have anything to prove it, but gut feeling, it feels like things are crumbling. Okay, I might just be too optimistic. It seems there are cracks. There are cracks within the regime. We'll see. I don't know.
One question. I just want to take like 2 or 3 more questions very quickly, and then we have to go. Lost Fan said, enough with theocracy, enough religious bullying. People of Iran and the whole world should be free to be whoever they are, and religion should be personal. I agree wholeheartedly. There was a young pup said, will the Shah's family come back if the regime falls? I wouldn't
Well, I
say that's
mean,
a
if they
possibility, but
come
do you
back,
think
I
it's
hope there's
possible?
just. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be safe for them even if the regime falls. So I don't know, but if they do come back, I would be advocating for them to not be monarchs. Like I'm not in favor of monarchy. Okay, here's another thing. Okay, I don't think this is I fight with the monarchists in Iran, right? I mean, fight like friendly fights. I have debates with them. I am for a republic, they're for a monarchy. So there's a lot of debates of what's supposed to happen once the regime falls. Okay, and there's usually two groups of Iranian. So the ones who want a monarchy, a constitutional monarchy to come back in place, and people who was like, no, the times of monarchies are over. Can we not go backwards? We need to go forward. We would like, a president or a prime minister or both, but with no monarchs. We want a proper republic. Thank you very much. Right. So these are the two camps of anti-regime Iranians. Right. However, what we have to understand is that these are just friendly discussions, and the priority right now is to be anti-Islamic Republic. Okay, again, this is another thing that is different about these protests. People are putting aside their ideological differences, right? People are putting across ethnicities and across ideological positions. People are like, for now, we're anti-Islamic Republic. Everything else takes we could talk about that later, right? But
Currently,
yeah,
the head of the family of the royal family is the son of the former Shah,
yes,
right? And is there
Reza.
still, yeah, Reza Pahlavi, and does he still have a campaign or an ambition to, I don't know,
No,
would they no?
audio of him was leaked. Okay, the people who want the monarchy, they want him to come back and become the king. Okay,
Uh-huh.
but an audio of him was leaked for, and he telling some of his supporters in a closed meeting that you guys like the time of monarchs are over. This is like nonsense. This is backwards. Like, what are we doing? And then after those audios were leaked, he had interviews saying that he himself is in favor of a republic. But if the Iranian people want a monarchy, sure, we have to give Iranian people what they want. But he himself is in favor of a republic, not a monarchy.
I see.
So he's an architect. So the monarchs, the person that they're betting on for them to for him to become the king, he's actually in our camp. He's in the camp of the Republicans.
That's
Like the people who are for, yeah.
that's very good. Um, Tandalia Kapufnik said, at a march in London, a protest against the Iranian regime, a fight almost broke out over a Kurdish flag.
Yes.
Islam is a lost
So
cause.
again, the Kurdish guys, this is not good. Okay, so the Kurdish flag, this is what the regime wants. Okay, the regime is trying to tell you that if we fall to the people who don't like the Islamic Republic, okay, the regime is like, okay, fine, you hate us, but you have to tolerate us, because if you remove us, you will lose Kurdistan. The Kurdish separatists will take out Kurdistan. Okay, and a lot of Kurdish people now, because Mahsa Amini herself was Kurdish, a lot of Kurdish people are coming out and saying that we are Iranian, right? So we see ourselves as Iranian. We are proud to be Iranian, and we don't want to leave Iran. And we are all in this against the Islamic Republic together. Okay, and I want the people, the Kurdish or the Turks or Baluchi or Arabs, there are like I think 6% based on the stats of the population that are separatists, right? However, it doesn't make any sense to be a separatist, even though they are a fringe minority, because if Kurdistan So this is why the Kurdish flag is very sensitive, okay? Because the people who want everybody to be united against the regime, they think if you bring the Kurdish flag into these, like, because the Kurdish flag is a sign of for people who want the Kurdistan region of Iran to secede from the rest of Iran, right? They say that introducing that at this time is going to divide people, right? Because now we're like, oh no, we're not for secession, we are for secession. And again, to any person that is actually legitimately like that government propaganda, but a legitimate uh, person that wants to secede Kurdistan from Iran, you have to understand that if the Islamic Republic stays in power, even if you have an independent Kurdistan, you would be living in hell still, because you would be neighboring the Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay, and they're not just going to let you be Kurdistan. And if you're thinking about the international community supporting you and letting you just be Kurdistan by yourself, as long as the Islamic Republic is in power, you will suffer. Look at Iraq. Look at how much Iraq is suffering from Iran. Look at how much Lebanon is suffering from Iran, right? Look at all these. Look at all the mess that Iran is responsible in the region. Kurdistan being separated from Iran with the Islamic Republic in power will still be hell. Your independence from Iran would not make you any better. It would actually make you worse. So the problem is not whether you're part of Iran or not part of Iran. The problem is the Islamic Republic of Iran. And your message of seceding from Iran is dividing people. You know this is dividing people. So cut it out and join the rest of the Iranian people and unite with them against the regime. Oh, we got another super chat.
Oh yeah, I'm muted. Yep. Okay, so maybe two more comments. Jay Savariat said, please make a video on UAE, Qatar, Saudi exporting Wahhabi Dawa propaganda that targets people who are ignorant of Islam. The same Dawa people like Ibn Fibn, like what's his name again? Sheikh Uthman Ibn Farouk, yeah. Refuse to speak reason with critiques of Islam. Yeah, that's a big issue that needs to be addressed. The thing is, I
Do you
should
know
make
that
a
this happened? Do you know this happened because of Iran?
yeah.
Wahhabism was exported out of Saudi Arabia after 1979 in response to the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran and the siege of Kaaba. The siege of Kaaba happened by Wahhabis in Mecca in response to the Islamic Revolution that happened in Iran as well, because it emboldened a lot of Muslims around the world to stand up against pro-American monarchists. And back before 1979 in Saudi Arabia was moving western, and Wahhabis were being ignored. And after the siege of Kaaba, the Saudis decided to go back and take the Wahhabis very seriously, and everything became a lot more Islamic. Before 1979, you even had reporters without hijab giving you the news in Saudi Arabia, right? But everything became Sharia all over because of because the Iranian Revolution brought Sharia back up in Saudi Arabia, and also because of the exporting of revolutionary values, the Shia Vilayat Faqih version of Shia Islam from Iran outside of Iran's borders, Iranian proxies being spread all across the Middle East, that made Saudis panic, because Iran had an eye for Saudi land, especially the oil-rich Shia part of Saudi Arabia, and the Saudis were always extremely terrified about Iran's motivations within their borders. So they started doing what Iran was doing. Iran was building many infrastructure outside of its borders, trying to spread its ideology, and Saudi Arabia responded by building madrasas all around the world, spreading Wahhabism. This is why, if you look at, for example, Pakistan, you could see the madrasas, the number of madrasas just takes exponentially grows right after 1979, because that's when Saudi Arabia decided to build madrasas in Pakistan. Like before 1979, most people in Pakistan didn't even know what's the difference between a Shia and a Sunni, but now they're like fighting over it with each other, right? This is because of Wahhabism growing everywhere, like Saudi Arabia growing it, exporting it to Pakistan, Afghanistan, Indonesia, and Malaysia, and it's making all of these places worse for it. But all of this happened because of what happened in Iran.
That was a good addition to the topic. More. One more comment, one more super chat, and then we will have to leave. Do you hear music playing?
Yeah, but it's nice. It's piano. I like it.
Apparently, there's background music on this streaming platform. That's funny. There was one more that I want to quickly pull up here, and then I want to
There's a
leave.
$20 one. Oh no, you already did
Why
that.
am I not seeing here? Oh, Surerusu said, any idea of what Iranians would think as a way to prevent a power vacuum of reinstating the 1906 constitution with Reza Pahlavi as a transition?
Okay, there's so many people, so many Iranians that don't want a monarchy. I think there should be a referendum. Okay, you know what? I think even though I think certain things shouldn't be up for voting, because I think as a pragmatist, if that's, I think a referendum is what will make everybody come sit at the table, right? So I think instead of like deciding what would be the best solution is to just let everybody participate in a national vote and a referendum. I think that's so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Armin, for all of this. Thank you for all the information. This was very informative, very enlightening, very inspiring. So thank you so much for covering all of that in such a short time. I hope to see a great future for the people of Iran, who the ones that I met were just very nicest people out there that I met, including Armin here, who's a very nice person. And before leaving, we want to quickly show where you can find Armin on Atheist Republic. Go plug it, Armin.
Yes, please, guys. We're gonna on Sunday. Me and Susanna, we're gonna cover the latest updates on Iran, and every Sunday we cover religion-related news all around the world, in India, in Iran, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, Malaysia, Indonesia, United States, Europe, all over. So if you and we do ask atheists anything as well. So we have 2 shows every week. The Sunday one is where we cover the news. We have 10 items every week. We cover Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, sometimes Buddhism, and different cults. Every time the religion is on the news, we cover it. So if you're interested in that, come and subscribe to Atheist Republic.
Fantastic. Go and subscribe. Stay updated. I hope everyone can be free and live in whatever way they want. I hope people can free themselves from oppression. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, Armin, again. Have a fantastic day, everybody, and stay away from Islam.
Stay away from Islam. Like Iran.
Yeah.